Right, Gareth, we're ready for you now. Do I look all right? We'll fix it in the edit.
Well, please put your hands together for Gareth Waugh!
Thank you so much for coming to my show. It's the Fringe. We're back, baby. Oh my God, 3 long years. It's been so good to be back. Thank you so much for coming to the show. It means an awful lot as well. As a little boy from Edinburgh, you know, I did one of my first gigs ever in this club. So to be doing it now to a sold out room, man, that is pretty special. Thank you so much for being a part of that. The show this year, sort of about growing up, right? And like my reluctance to grow up and how I've not really wanted to ever do it and how I'm still a bit immature and all that. So with that in mind, I want to know a little bit about you guys, right? Don't worry, nobody's involved in the show or anything like that. I just want to know who the like oldest and youngest person in the room is, right? So if there's anybody over 60, give me a cheer. A little satellite delay there as the hearing aids picked it up. Cool. We've got one here. What's your name, mate? Gordon, that was a bit close to Zeke Kyle there, Gordon, for a wave. How old are you, Gordon? 63. 63, right, here's some important. How old do you feel in your head, though? 25. 25, man, that's fucking terrifying, isn't it? Because, like, that means that we're just going to be like that one day, but still feel like this. That's so fucking scary, isn't it? Like, and who, what about youngest? Anybody under 20? Woo! Yeah, cool, where do we have? He's a lying bastard. Cool. Well, that's cool. That'll not make the edit. Anybody then 20, 21? We've got 2 19-year-olds. All right, cool. Well done for snitching. Good on you. Fucking Lee Wallace in the crowd today. Okay. Oh, class, man. So 2 19-year-olds. What's your name, fella? Elias. What? All right, nice to meet you, mate. And who is it you're here with? These two, right, okay, cool. And is there, what do you want to be when you grow up, mate? Have you thought about that? I know it's a weird question to ask when you're 19. You not thought about it? Good on you, man. And like, is there anything you're worried about with getting older or that? No? Okay, cool, man. Not like getting bald or like, you know, turning into your dad or anything like that, no? All right, nice to speak to you, mate. Lovely. I've done a few grown-up things so far. Like, I've been with my girlfriend for 11 years, and we got a dog together. And yes, thank you very much. It's a weird thing, though. When you've been with your girlfriend 11 years, people like to make the same joke when you get a dog. Everyone goes, oh, hey, oh, practice for a baby. And you're like, no, because, like, first of all, having a dog, way harder than having a baby, isn't it? Way harder, right? Like, if your baby bites someone, totally fine, isn't it? My dog bites someone, that's him fucking done, right? Love my dog. Got my dog 1 month before the first lockdown. Changed my lockdown. You know, it was good for getting out of the house, good for like mental health and all that. Did turn my girlfriend into a lunatic, if I'm honest with you, right? And it started small, and then it got worse and worse, right? Started off with little things, like she started calling me daddy. Which I always thought would be cool as fuck, man, yeah! But it's not sexy. It's not sexy. If anything, it's passive-aggressive, right? Because she speaks to me, but through the dog, right? So she'll say things like, oh, maybe Daddy'll take you out for a pee. Or, oh, maybe Daddy'll give you your dinner. And I'm always like, oh, maybe Daddy'll leave Mummy if she keeps this shit up, right? But that's how it started to go way worse. She has created a social media account for the dog, right? Which I don't agree with, because first of all, he's too young. Do you know what I mean? I don't want him to get groomed. So, fuck yous, man. That's the best joke in the whole show. No. You don't get a petty round of applause. I don't want that, right? But it's going to be a long fucking hour for you cunts if you're not on board now, right? But we have a cheer. Who's all got a dog? A few people. Does anyone have a social media account for their dog? There's no way in a room this size there isn't one. Is anyone sitting next to somebody that has one and they're too scared to say? Yeah, okay, cool, yeah. I promise I'm not going to pick on you. That's all right, it's just yourself. What's your name? Gemma, and what kind of dog do you have, Gemma? You have a border collie, proper dog, good on you. And what's the dog's name? Benji. Benji, classic dog name, man. All the boxes getting ticked. And is it like an Instagram account you've got? It is, right. Now, here's the important question for you, Gemma. Do you post as the dog? Yes, there we go. Okay, that's what these fucking lunatics are doing. Because my girlfriend puts up photos of the dog, but the caption is like he's the one that wrote it. I hate it. It's creepy as fuck, man, right? Like, it'll be a photo of him with like a bone or something like that, and the caption's like, I got a new chew today, and then other dogs fucking comment on it. Being like, oh, you're a lucky boy, right? It's so weird. My girlfriend pretends to be a dog on the internet. That's her hobby. She dog fishes people. That's her thing, right? And I went on these dog Instagrams. They're all the same. It's all dead cutesy. Do you know what I mean? It'll be like a little photo of a puppy running along a beach or something like that. And the caption's like, I went down the beach today. # sandy paws. Like it's never like an old bulldog. Do you know what I mean? Posting stuff like, there's too many fucking cats in this country. I'm not like that, but they don't even speak the language, right? Meow, meow, what the fuck is that? Coming over here, taking jobs off proper pets, right? With these wee poppy badge profile picture, right? But the way I found out about my dog being on Instagram, right? I put up a photo of the puppy on my Instagram, and then he commented on it, right? He just said, tag me next time, daddy, right? Now, I'll be honest with you, I smoke quite a lot of weed in my house, so at first, that freaked me the fuck out, man. I'm just looking at my dog like, how the fuck have you done that, mate? You're a very clever boy, right? Does Benji like getting a bath, Gemma? No, my dog hates getting a bath, he hates it. Biggest problem with that is, I don't have a bath, right? I don't own a bathtub. I live in a tiny wee flat in Edinburgh. Anytime I need to wash my dog, I've got to put him in the shower cubicle, but he hates it. He's always trying to escape. So I've got to shut the like slidey glass doors so that he can't get out. So I'm in there with him, right? And because I'm in there with him, I take off my trousers so that I don't get soaking wet, okay? All above board. But the thing is though, I've now created a complex in my dog. See now, whenever I take off my trousers in the flat, the dog goes like that. I look like I shag my dog. Do you know what I mean? I can't take off my trousers in front of me. Freaks out. Like, if I ever had people around at my house, I couldn't take my trousers off. Not that I would, but I couldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we're having a game of Sexy Twister or something like that, I get my trousers off. They're like, what the fuck's wrong with your dog? And I'm like, don't worry, he just thinks he's getting a bath. They're like, what the fuck are you doing to in the bath then, you creepy ginger bastard, right? You know, is Benji a rescue? No, you're not a hero? Okay. That's fine. No, my dog's not a rescue either. It's one of my least favourite things. Like, see if you're out with your dog and somebody starts chatting to them, it's one of the first questions they always ask you. They're always like, oh, is he a rescue? And you feel like a piece of shit when you say no, right? So I've always come up with like some sort of bullshit non-answer when they ask me that. I always go like, oh, well, I like to think that he rescued me. And they're like, is he a fucking rescue or not? And I'm like, no. No, he's not. Didn't rescue my dog, sorry, not a hero. Didn't rescue my dog because I wanted a good one. So, you know, I want some fucked up thing, do you know what I mean? No, that's not true. I genuinely tried to rescue a dog before I got the dog that I ended up with, right? I went through the whole process online, because that's what you do it online now. And it did feel like online dating. Like I say, I've been with my girlfriend 11 years. I've never really done Tinder or anything like that. But going on the dog website where it had like their name, their age, and what they're into, and you're going like, yuck, 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 that one's all right, that's fine. It felt like that. It felt like a wee dating app, right? And I feel like there should just be a wee app for if you want to adopt a dog, right? Because you could call it something like Grinder or something like that. Fuck yous, man. Fuck, I'll just edit a laugh in. I don't care. I'll never say that again. Stop dicking about. So, I found one online that I liked, right? Their name was Taz. I wanted to adopt Taz. And the shelter place, they're like, that's fine, we just need to come and have a look at your house before you adopt the dog. And I went, you come whenever you like. I went to see these people around my house less than 2 minutes. And they went, we're very sorry, but this house is not suitable for a dog. And I was like, but I live here. Like, and I'm a human being. Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, sorry, this dog would rather die than live in your piece of shit house, mate. Come on, Taz, right? It's because it didn't have an enclosed garden, right? But they never told me that. They just said it wasn't suitable. So I was a bit resentful to this dog. I was like, why is that fucking dog pickier about where he lives than I am, right? Like, he had one look at my house and went, nah, fuck this. Where would I play poker with all my friends? No, not doing it, man. Aye, and I'm quite relieved I never got Taz. You know, he had quite a few issues. He had 3 legs for a start, had a tooth hanging out, had anxiety, right? I can't have a dog with anxiety. I've got anxiety, do you know what I mean? There's only so much space under the bed on bonfire night, do you know what I mean? Just the 2 of us under there. He's like, are we dying, Gareth? I'm like, we're dying, Taz, the Russians are coming, right? I also don't like the term rescue. Feels a bit grandiose, doesn't it? Like in my head, when something's rescued, or like a person's rescued, like it's months of planning, you like breach through a wall, you're like, fucking go, go, go. It's not what happens when you rescue a dog, is it? You fill out some forms and that's it. And even the people that run the shelters, they use the term rescue, which I think is very strange. Because they're always like, oh, do you want to adopt this dog? From us. Like, because they're the ones that kill it, do you know what I mean? They're the ones that put them down, they're the ones you're rescuing it from, right? Okay, he's on for this at all, that's fine. Oh, I feel like we should do that with orphans. If you could run about a bit, mate, that'd be class. No, right. Hear me out. If you knew orphans were getting put down when they weren't getting taken, every one of us would have an orphan, right? We would. They'd all get houses. It'd be a better system. Like, say somebody introduces you to a wee kid and they're like, hey, this is Sammy. And you're like, what the fuck? They're like, say hi, Sammy. And Sammy's like, hiya. And you're like, oh, hey, do you want to adopt this fucking kid or what? You gonna take him off my hands, are you? Or give me any excuse, right? Like, tell them about yourself, Sammy. And Sammy's like, I like Pokemon and rollerblades. And they're like, oh, and what's your favourite dinner, Sammy? Ice cream. Oh, you can't have ice cream for dinner, Sammy. Come on, what's your favourite dinner? Biscotti. Oh, biscotti. You gonna take this fucking kid or what? You got an enclosed garden? Give me any excuse, I'll kill it. I want to kill him, right? Out of all the audiences, right, you have been a bit more standoffish with that, right? I'll be honest, it felt weird today, right? The kid's made up, you know that, right? They don't, fuck them, they're dead now, right? Go fuck it, right? Kill the kid, who cares? Some of you are still concerned about Sammy, fuck Sammy. Fuck him, right, he's done. Why would I kill the kids on the day that fuck are filming it? Why would I do that? They just got rid of the fucking cow. Anyway. It's changed having a dog, you know, it's changed a lot of stuff. I feel a bit more grown up with some stuff, like it changes little things that you don't expect. Like pets at home. Totally different game now for me, Pets at Home. And if there's any like tourists in that maybe don't know about it, Pets at Home is like a chain we have in the UK. It's a retail like pet store, like it's a big chain. And like, you know, with a lot of these big chain stores, everyone's like, oh, it's crushed the small businesses, like the small locally owned businesses. I actually think Pets at Home is the one instance where that's a good thing, right? Because I don't know how many of you grew up in the 90s and you maybe remember the 90s locally owned pet shops, right? They were fucking harrowing places, these things, right? Every single one of them was the same as well. Every single one of those pet shops had a parrot not in a cage, right? Just next to the till that the locals had taught swear words to, right? So you'd walk in and a parrot's calling you a cunt and stuff, right? It's like, oh, welcome to the pet shop, you cunt. And you're like, what the fuck is happening here, right? Saying messed up shit to you, like, what is consciousness? Existence is futile. You're like, whoa, okay, right? How the fuck have you learned that? So I like Pets at Home. I like it that it's a bit more soulless. And it's changed. I used to go into Pets at Home like a cheap day out, right? I would treat it like a wee shite zoo where I'd go in, have a look at the chinchillas, go next door to Chiquitos, carry on with my day. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. When I go to Pets at Home, all business, right? I'm in there to get 30 kilos of kibble and then I'm out of there. And I miss just going in for a laugh, right? Where you'd be standing looking at the snakes or something like that. And then one of the wee kids that works there is like, oh, are you interested in buying a snake? And you're like, no, I just miss my ex. You know, but it's a shame. Too cheap, Pets at Home as well, way too cheap. You don't know if you can get 2 hamsters for a tenner. That's too cheap, isn't it? That's cheaper than Eckies, right? I think a hamster should cost more than an Eckie is where I'm at in my life, right? I don't know if you know this, mate, but see, like, I know you're 19 and you're only starting to grow up a wee bit, but see, when you're actually a grown-up, you can just walk into Pets at Home and they'll give you a pet if you ask for one, right? That's fucking mental, isn't it? There's no questions whatsoever. Like, you just go in and no background checks. None. You could walk into Pets at Home with a hammer, right? And just go, one hamster, please. And they'll just go, yeah, you want a bag with that? It's fucking mental, right? I just feel like they should ask a few more questions. They shouldn't just give you a life like that. Like if you walk into Pets at Home and like say something weird, like there's a bit of small talk with the person behind the till, like say you're buying a gerbil and you're like, here, let's say, it's weird Richard Gere shoved one of them up his arse, isn't it? The person behind the till should be like, you're not going to do that, right? And you're like, no, obviously not. Do you sell poppers as well, or do I have to get them elsewhere? I feel bad for gerbils as well, man. I think they've got bad PR. I don't know if there's any gerbils in tonight, but I feel bad for you, right? Because like that's where my head goes straight away with gerbils, right? You know, celebrities shoving them up their ass, and I feel bad because there's way more use. Yeah. Yeah. No, there's way more uses for gerbils, isn't there? You could pierce a toddler's ears with their teeth. You could clean your phone with one. You could use their wee feet to seal a pie. I've lost my fucking mind, man. All I'm saying is there should be more background checks when you buy a pet. I just don't think you should walk in and go one gerbil and they go beep. There you go. Fucking hell, they've probably not got a barcode on their belly. Beep. There you go. Oh fucking hell, that one's no scanning. Margaret, can I get a price check on a brown gerbil, please? A male brown gerbil, please, Margaret. Fuck you, Spike. Oh man. She's a professional. She must be able to tell by taste. Right. So, all right. Well, fucking hell, I've lost my mind fully. Because, like I say, I'm in my 30s now, and I thought I'd feel grown up by now, and I don't. I don't feel grown up. Like in my head, I thought when I was younger, like something would just happen, and you start to feel like a grown up, and I don't think it's ever coming. Like, who's all over 30? Give me a cheer. Good on yous, man. Yous know, right? And anybody over 30, I'm not going to insult yous and say, oh, I feel old in my 30s. I don't feel old. I feel fucking boring, for sure, right? Definitely boring, right? Like, because I mean, mate, 19, you're still having, like, interesting conversations and all that, right? Like, the creative, I mean, no offence, you're thick as shit, right? But your conversations are interesting, right? Because remember when you were in your teens and your early 20s and one of your messed up mates would come up to you and say something daft like, all right, would you rather have nails for teeth or teeth for nails, right? Okay. Hit home a bit too close there. No, like all these would go, right, we're going to need a couple hours to really figure this out, right? And you would say mad shit like, you know, well, teeth nails would be good because then you could like bite folk with your hand. But you know, nails for teeth would be good because you never have to brush them, they just keep growing, right? And you would talk about it for ages. Whereas now, in my 30s, my conversations fucking suck, man. Here's what being in your 30s is, right? There's normally like a group of yous, and then somebody in your group will just point out something round about yous, and then that's what you'll chat about for the next 5 minutes, right? It's so boring. Perfect example of this. I went to a restaurant with my mates, right? We all sat down, and one of them picked up a fork off the table and went, God, I really like these forks, right? And then everyone chatted about forks for 5 minutes, right? They went, oh yeah, nice weight to them, isn't there? Yeah, oh yeah, I prefer 4 prongs over 3. And I was like, oh yeah, I like the forks as well. What the fuck are you talking about? We're having a conversation about forks right now, you dull fuck. Like, can you imagine being in your 20s and one of your mates going, God, I really like these forks. You'd be like, oh, you like the forks, do you? Captain Cutlery, right? That guy would get called Fork for the rest of his life, right? Being a stag do in Spain 10 years later with t-shirts made up that say Forcaventura on them, right? I went to a restaurant with my girlfriend, right? She went to the toilets and she came back and she went, bathrooms are worth checking out. And I went and had a look at the bathrooms, right? I didn't need to do anything in there. I was just a fucking weirdo having a look, right? Which is the biggest weird thing you can be in the bathroom, is in for a look, right? That's like guy code 101. You don't go in for a look. You keep one urinal in between you don't look, right? And I was just like, don't mind me, guys. We're just all the way. I mean, what the fuck am I doing in here, man? I mean, to be fair, the brass taps were stunning. But that's not the point. It's not the point, do you know what I mean? Like, if I was in my 20s and one of my mates were like, bathrooms are worth checking out, I think I was getting a line of cocaine. Right? Or at least there's a glory hole in there or something like that, right? Not that would you use a glory hole, it'd just be a laugh to see one in the wild, wouldn't it? Oh, look at that, glory hole, yes, right, they exist. I'd maybe keep it wholesome, do you know what I mean? Whisper compliments through it or something like that, right? Just be sat like, nice shoes, mate. Oh, fucking hell, nice cock, mate, right? Putting a wee puppet show for the guy or something like that, I don't know. But even the places I go to with my mates, they're all different now, like, because all my mates, they've grown up much faster than me. They totally have, like, all of them, they've got married, they've had kids, they've got proper jobs, right? This is my job. I work for an hour sometimes, right? So it's not a real job, man, do you know what I mean? But, like, when we go out, because it's so few and far between, you know, it's every 4 to 6 weeks, I'll see these people. They don't go to the places we used to go, like when we were 19 and when we were in our 20s. Because then, you just go to wherever was cheapest, right? You'd be walking down the street, some guy would be like, oh, pound shots tonight, fight. And you'd be like, oh, fucking hell, pound shots, let's go there. And somebody in your group would be like, I've heard that bar's got no floor in it. And you're like, fucking shut up, it's pound shots, we'll crab along the beams, we'll be alright, right? Whereas now, when I go out with my mates, it's not that, right? We go to fancy bars, we treat ourselves, right? And I fucking hate fancy bars, right? Edinburgh's full of them as well. And every single one of them, the exact same, right? They've all got mood lighting, which is basically a couple of candles and fuck all else, right? And it's pitch black in there, everyone's walking in going, oh, this is fancy. I'm like, how do you know? How can you tell, right? I can't see a fucking thing in here, right? There might be a pool of blood in the corner we don't know about, right? And this is very your da energy, right? I know that. But you never just get your drink in a normal glass, do you? You get in something weird and quirky, like a fucking jam jar, right? And I hate getting a drink in a jam. Everyone's like, oh, look at that wee jam jar, isn't that fancy? I'm like, no, it's not fancy. It's literally fucking garbage, right? I finish a jar of jam and I throw the fucking out, right? Well, I don't throw it out, I recycle, I'm not a monster. But like, do you know what I mean? It's garbage. I don't go up to a bar and go, excuse me, mate, yeah, a pint of lager, but I'm going to put in an empty Heinz Beans tin. I'm feeling a wee bit fancy tonight, right? Oh, 4 Jaeger bombs, please, mate. Going to just put them in an empty Miller fruit corner tub and we'll tip them in that way, right? I'll tell you what's annoying about that is I know some of you are going, that's a fucking good idea. Fucking bastards, man. I'd say the gifts you get as well when you turn 30, that's pretty, that changes, man. Like, I mean, you're still probably getting good gifts at 19, but it shocks now. Like, none of my gifts are good. And, you know, people my age, like grown-ups, proper people, like, that have matured fast now, they're always like, oh, giving presents is better than receiving. I love giving them, I just like to make folk happy. And I'm sorry, I prefer receive. No, I didn't say it. I do, I prefer receiving gifts, right? I do. And that's quite immature. And it's hard because my girlfriend is one of the worst gift givers in the world, right? She's so bad, right? Like, little example before I tell you the worst one, right? She woke me up one Christmas and she's like, Merry Christmas, open this one first, right? Open it up. It's a guidebook to New York City, right? And I went, oh my God, are we going to New York? And she went, well, one day. I was like, have I hurt you in some way? Like, what? Why did you do that to me? And she went, do what? I thought it was a nice wee gift to start. I went, you're a fucking psycho, man, right? Worst gift she ever got me, though, was a massage, right? I don't like massages. They make me feel tense. They make me feel tense. I don't like a stranger touching me. Unless it's like, you know... to make me come. And with a massage, you never really know, do you? Because here's the thing. Every man in this room knows of the existence of the happy ending massage, right? We all know it exists in the world. I've never had one, but I know it exists out there. I don't even know how they come about, but again, I know that they exist. And I'm always worried that when I'm getting a massage, I'm going to be giving off some sort of secret, sad, lonely little signal that I want wanked off, which is what I don't want that at all, right? But here's the other thing. Here's something you just need to know about me, right? I'm a very awkward person. If during a massage, the masseuse started to proceed with a happy ending, right? I wouldn't say anything out of awkwardness, right? I wouldn't want to embarrass them, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't really go, oh, what are you doing? And they go, oh my God, I'm so sorry, right? I'd feel too bad for them, so I would just let it happen, right? What I'm saying is, I would take a wank out of embarrassment, is what I'm saying, right? What can I say? I'm a gentleman. But I am always worried. I also know the existence of a sad ending massage, which is when you wank them off. You sure you've no oil? Oh man. All right, too gross, fair enough. It's too late now though. So anyway, I go in to get this massage. We're on holiday. It was a few years back, and it was my birthday, right? She booked in the afternoon. Bad time to get a massage when you're on holiday, right? I'd already been in the pool all day. I'd had a couple of cocktails. I was already going in feeling a bit fast and loose. Do you know what I mean? Some bad decisions were going to be made, right? And the lady who's doing my massage, she says, a couple of options for you here. You can wear the shorts that you've got on now. You can wear these sort of little disposable paper pant things, or you can wear nothing at all, right? And then she left the room. So I started weighing up my options, right? I was like, well, I'm not going to wear the shorts I've got on now. They're still wet from the pool. That'd be mental. It wouldn't be very comfy. The paper pad things, I was like, I'm going to discount them straight away because they came in like a plastic bag and that's single use, innit? How can I enjoy my massage if I'm thinking about my carbon footprint the whole time? So that's crazy, right? So I went, au natural, we could do that. We could go feel like we're comfortable in our body. But what I'd forgot is that I am not comfortable in my body. So when she's out of the room, I get everything off, right? I get the towel on, I go over to the table. That hole in it, by the way, not for your dick, turns out. Found that out the hard way. My legs were hanging off the end. I was like, right? But no, I get my face in the wee hole, right? And I'm waiting for the lady to come back in. And I'm a bit of an overthinker, right? And she took too long to come back, so I started to overthink my decision. I was like, oh my God, why have you got nothing on under this towel? What have you done? This is how people get molested, Gareth, right? You've made it so easy for her now. If she tries to wag you off, that's it. You can't do anything about it, right? You've taken away the only barrier you had, and also, she's going to see your shite little ginger arse, right? And I'm very self-conscious about my arse. It's flatter than the earth, honestly. So I was like, oh my God, what the fuck have you done, right? And I go, okay, I'll just put my shorts back on, right? I start getting off the table, and boom, she walks back in the room, and I was like, oh, brilliant, we're fucking in this now, right? She starts massaging me and she's like, you're really tense. And I was like, yeah, no, stressful holiday. It's like, no, I know what's under there and there's nothing, right? And at one point, she was like, if you just roll over onto your back, I'm going to do your front. And I went, how? And she said, sideways. Like she thought I was like, do I do a forward roll here? Like, I was like, no. I went, no, I get that part. It's just, I've nothing on under my towel. I'm worried you'll see something. She went, I won't fucking look. And she said fucking, which I thought was very unprofessional, actually, right? I don't know if you've ever said something so stupid to somebody that's just made their facade drop, right? Which meant, I won't fucking look, right? And to be fair, I had just called her a pervert, basically, so... Anyway, we're getting towards the end of the massage. I'm back on my front at this point, and she goes, okay, to finish things off, a couple of options for you. You can have this lavender oil. It's very good for spirituality. Or you can have this powder. The powder is very good for stress, right? And I was like, give me the stress powder. That seems like the best thing because I'm not relaxed at all. She then whips my towel off me, right? So now my little arse is exposed to the room, right? All my greatest fears come into play at once. I've never tensed up so quickly in my entire life. I felt so vulnerable. I was just like, oh, right? I was like those little goats, you know, the ones where you give them a fright when you're like, bah, and they go, up, right? Just follow it. I was like, oh no, right? I was like, oh, here we go, this is it, right? And she starts pouring the powder on me from a bit of a height, like she was talking a massive baby, right? And then... what happened next is the single most embarrassing thing that's ever happened in my entire life. She starts pushing up and down on my back like this, right? Just moving up and down, pressing in the powder, and some pressure built up, and a little fart escaped from my body. And escaped is the correct word, right? I wasn't in charge of this. She was playing me like the fucking bagpipes. I don't know what she thought was going to happen, right? She just pressed it out it came, and it wasn't a good fart, right? And I know that's not something I should be concerned about in this situation, but it wasn't like a classic or anything like that. Well, come out of my body, and I'm so sorry to do this to y'all, but it was one of these guys. Just absolutely mortifying. And it just, the worst thing that could have happened. Like, it's like your arse is telling you how smelly it's going to be before you've smelled it. Oh no, mate. That's bad. That is bad, mate. Right. Now, the good thing about very quiet, isn't it? She's maybe not heard it over all the fucking whale music or whatever's going on, right? However, Hi, I'm covered in powder. So she's definitely seen it, do you know what I mean? A little Hiroshima like that there. I'd argue seeing a farce worse than hearing it, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, so pretty bad. I mean, I don't know, maybe you just get less in control of your body when you're in your 30s. But I'll tell you the most 30s thing that happened to me recently, right? I got added into a communal WhatsApp group for my block of flats, and honestly, I wish I was dead. It is the single most boring place I think I've ever been in my entire life. I don't know how many is are like maybe in a Facebook group or a WhatsApp chat for your street or your neighbourhood or your block of flats, but it's so boring, man. It's always set up by some dweeb who absolutely loves admin. Just like, oh, I thought we could discuss the neighbourhood issues. I'm like, you're the fucking neighbourhood issue, right? I don't want to speak to any of you pricks, right? Because that's the thing, I live in the city, right? I don't speak to any of my neighbours. I don't know their names. It's not like the 70s. I'm not out cutting my grass every Sunday going, morning, Jim, how's wee Susie's recital? I don't speak to them, right? The biggest interaction I have with my neighbours is if one of us is entering and the other one's leaving the flats at the same time, and you just do that kind of, and that's it, right? It's not even a real smile. You bite the air a couple of times, put your lips together, just go. I don't speak to them at all, right? So I get added into this group, and I had to save them in my phone as the nicknames that I'd already made up for them, right? So, like, I had to look at their WhatsApp photos and go, oh, that's that person, that's that. Like, because I've got all these nicknames, so my girlfriend knows who I'm talking about. So I've got one guy that I call Jeff the Strangler. Just because he's always dead nice. He's always like, hey, yeah, how's it going? Windy out there. Watch you don't blow away. I'm like, you fucking murder people, don't you? What are you talking about for? What are you talking to me for, man, right? And he's always like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, you fucking collect women's feet. I can tell. Leave me alone, right? Because you know, like, when they interview people that live next door to serial killers, they're like, oh, what was it like living next door to a serial killer? They're always like, oh, they were always dead nice. They kept themselves to themselves. I'm fucking on to him straight away, right? I'm going to be on the news talking about it. I've got another neighbour that I call Bill Gates because he's always got his windows open. So... Now, I know that's not a good enough joke for a comedy show. I know that, right? But I'm painting you a picture. I'm letting you know who my neighbours are until we get to the proper story. Basically, what happened there is one day I said to my girlfriend, I was like, bloody Bill Gates with his windows open. And she went, ha! And that was enough for me, right? I was like, yes, that's today done, right? But the main thing the people in this group chat like to moan about is we have a communal bin store, right? And I don't know what happened. Did you hear that there? I don't know if he's heard that. That was a man over 30 who cares about the bins more than he ever thought he would, right? The bins is a big part of your life, it turns out. I don't know. There's something happens at some age. Some of you are going, fucking get to the bin story. I know, right? I'll get there. We have a communal bin store, and we don't have individual bins for our flats, right? We have these big industrial ones that we all use. And if somebody puts something in the wrong bin, the tension in that group chat is palpable for days, right? Because here's the thing, right? They don't want to come straight out and moan when when they're your neighbours, because like if they were like, oh, who the fuck's done this? They look like an arsehole, don't they? So what they do is they'll like prefix it with a little bit of shite banter beforehand, right? So somebody will come in the group chat and they'll be like, hi guys, hope you're getting to enjoy some of this nice weather that we've been having. I just wanted to say, I was down in the bin store earlier, and I don't want to sound like a Karen, but I found a human head in the bins, right? Now, obviously, that should be in the brown bins. That's compostable, guys, right? Jeff the Strangler's like, sorry, that was me. I was out strangling people all night, right? So, oh, don't worry, Jeff. Just point out, it wasn't a complaint. Now you know for next time. He's like, I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached. And he's like, I could remove your head for you. Right, but... The reason I'm telling you about the group chat, though, is it finally became worthwhile last month, right? Because somebody accidentally sent a sext into the communal WhatsApp group. I know, yeah. Now it was worth the fucking Bill Gates line, wasn't it? Yeah. So good, man. It was so funny, right? Now, I'm not going to read out the whole sex tease because I'm pretty sure that's illegal in this country, mainly because I asked a lawyer and they said, yes, that's illegal, don't do that. So I'll give you the highlights, obviously, right? So he opened up with, hey, when are you? I don't know why I've given him such a sexy voice. I can't change it now. I can't be like, hello, do you want to see my Willie? Right? So, hey, when are you home? I have a present for you, right? Now, first of all, if you've ever called your penis a present, you are a paedophile. I'm sorry, right? It's not a gift into the world, right? One of my favourite lines, you turn me on so munch. I mean, you can forgive a spelling error, can you? He's obviously typing one-handed. So... But one of the worst things I've ever read was the last line of this text, right? He closed it off with, "I'm so randy." I know, randy? Who the fuck is saying Randy sincerely in 2022, right? So obviously they're now saved in my phone as Austin Powers, right? But I don't want to be a prude or anything like that, right? But it went in 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday. That's a weird time to be horny, isn't it? Didn't get deleted for 4 hours, right? 4 hours, man. And nobody said a word. I was just looking at my phone going, this is fucking amazing, right? Why is nobody saying nothing? Because he's got proper jobs, I guess, right? But I was just looking at it, and then it got deleted, and somebody went, "Oh, sorry, I missed that. What was it?" And they went, "Oh, never mind, wrong group." I went, "Group? What group are you in, you big horny bastards?" Right? So good, man. I think one of the reasons I don't feel grown up, right, is like I don't feel very assertive, right? I thought I'd know myself a bit better by now, and like I know a bit. Like my biggest flaw is I just want people to like me, right? All the time I just want folk to like me, and like because I'm a very left-leaning person, right, politically, which I think we can all agree is very brave of me to admit. In a comedy club. I want folk to like me, and I get in trouble with it all the time, right? Because like, here's the thing, if you're a right-wing person and you say something right-wing to me, I would just agree with you, right? Because I just want you to like me and I don't want to argue with folk, right? And I get in trouble all the time. I had a plumber around at my house not that long ago. He was doing some tiles around the sink, and he came in and I was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" He was like, "Yeah, good, thanks mate." I went, how's your day been so far?" And he went, "Oh mate, house before this, couple of gay guys," right? Now, he's not actually said what his opinion on gay people is, has he? Right? But I reckon we can tell by the tone. Like his next line wasn't going to be, "They invited me to the wedding. I've never stopped greeting since." Right? He wasn't going to say that, right? He wasn't going to say that. He was going to say something fucked up, right? And I'm quite embarrassed to say I didn't challenge that guy with that. I didn't go, "Oh, what the fuck's wrong with that? What's your problem?" Right? Because in my head I thought, well, that's confrontational. Then he doesn't like me. He's still got to do the tiles. Maybe if I piss him off, he puts in one of the tiles squint or something like that. And I've got to look at that for the rest of my life, haven't I? Right? Just going, I should have just been homophobic for 5 minutes, man. Right? So I didn't challenge him. But I don't know if anyone's ever said something so fucked up to you that catches you off guard, right? So when he went, "Mate, house before this, couple of gay guys," I just went, "Oh." I didn't know what to do, right? And he went, "I don't care what they do in their own house." And in my head I was like, sounds like you do. You're in their fucking house, mate, right? Another example of this, right? I was driving my car and I got a flat tyre, and that's actually strictly not true. I wasn't driving my car. I don't have a car. I did have a car, but in lockdown I lost it. So my mind, not the car. Fuck it, here's the story, right? So in lockdown, I had a breakdown. Again, hey, up there, not the car. And basically, I found lockdown very, very tough, if I'm honest with you, right? And I know some people quite enjoyed lockdown, and I know some people had a way tougher one than I did, right? But I found it difficult, particularly mentally, because, like, this is where I derive most of my self-worth, right? Right here, right now. I love stand-up comedy. It's one of my favourite things I've ever done in my life. And it's genuinely an absolute privilege that I get to do this for a living. It's never lost to me that at all. And that's thanks to you guys, right? And I got taken away. They got taken away in lockdown, wasn't able to do it, so I lost a lot of my self-worth. And sure, there was Zoom gigs and Twitch and shit like that, but it was very much methadone to this is heroin, right? So it wasn't the same, man, but I found it very difficult, and I've always had a little bit of mental health stuff going on, but in lockdown, I went into a very, very deep depression, right? And for long periods of time, I was super depressed, because I had to get another job, right? I worked in a supermarket through lockdown, and I hated it, right? Not the fact that it was a supermarket, it just wasn't this, do you know what I mean? It was not what I thought I should be doing, and I've got a lot of mates that are quite successful comedians, right? And none of them had to get extra work in lockdown. None of them had to take on another job. And I'm embarrassed to admit, I was quite resentful of them as well. And there was part of me, like, because here's the thing, I did night shifts, right? I did 10 p.m. till 8 a.m. 3 nights a week, right? And I was a half-hour drive away. And it was that half-hour drive that I was always at my lowest, right? Because it was just half an hour with my own thoughts. And anyone that's had any mental health stuff before, you'll know how intrusive the thoughts are. A lot of times you're thinking stuff can't possibly be true, but you can't stop thinking it. And in my head, I thought a lot of my mates were maybe making fun of me behind my back, or they thought less of me as a comedian because I was having to get this extra job, which I know is daft, but that's what I thought a lot of the time. So I was very, very depressed, and I come up with a unique way to try and combat my depression in lockdown. What I thought was, when I was driving to that supermarket for that half hour, and maybe if I was doing it in like a fancy motor, it would be better. Like I'd just be driving there going, this is a laugh, innit, right? Because I had a Suzuki Alco at the time, right, which is a piece of shit, right? And I went, well, if I had something like Clash, that would make the work much better. So I set out to try and find myself a cool car, right? And I found one, right? I found a 2005 Porsche Boxster, right? Convertible, bright red, the fucking business, right? Guy was selling it for $7,000. Now, I don't know how many of you know a lot about cars. I certainly don't know a lot about cars. Some of you are maybe going, wow, $7,000 for a Porsche, that seems quite cheap. It was a piece of shit. But we'll get to that, right? So I didn't have $7,000 kicking about in the bank. Of course I didn't, right? I don't know how well you know comedy pays at this level, but I didn't have $7,000 sitting in the bank. So I had to go out and get a loan, right? I lied on the loan application and said I was earning more than I was in order to get approved, right? And some of you might be going, are you allowed to do that? No. No, you're not, right? That's what I did. And then I told my girlfriend about it, right? I was like, I'm thinking about buying this car. I think that would be a good laugh. Like, imagine that. Like, imagine having that. And she was a bit like, hey, right, do you not think that this is maybe just putting a plaster over a deeper seated issue, and that maybe you'd be better off like getting to the root cause of your problems and like maybe speaking to somebody about it and all that, and maybe getting some medication? Do you not think that would maybe be helpful? Do you not think all that would be like a better thing to do? And I went, no. No, I think I want to get a fucking car, yeah, right? So I did get the loan approved, right? I go to meet the guy, right? I'm going it was the 31st of December 2020, right? New Year's Eve. As soon as I saw it, I knew I was going to do the single most grown-up thing I'd done in my life until that point. I, at 31 years old, was going to have a midlife crisis, right? It's a shame. I would have loved to have seen 63. But... I go and I buy the car off the guy, and like I said, New Year's Eve, I go out, right? So basically my New Year's resolution was to become a hairdresser with a tiny cock, and my God, I did it, right? I took the car off the guy, I started driving I was working that night, I drove to work that night in my fucking fancy new sports car, right? Do you know what you can't do when you're driving to do the night shifts in a convertible? Have the roof down. You look like a fucking maniac, right? Also, it's December. Also, I live in Scotland. It's fucking never like this here, right? And I know you're sitting sweating your asses off now, but it's not fucking normally like this at all. What was I doing? I bought a convertible in Scotland. I'd lost my fucking mind, man. Anyway, it works. It worked. I started driving the supermarket. I was fucking buzzing, man. I was like, yes, man, a Porsche, that's his class. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I had the car about 7 months, took it for its first MOT. The first MOT, £3,500. Yep, half the amount I paid for the car that I couldn't afford in the first place. But you know, what can I say? I'm a Virgo, so... Yeah, still got debt to it from this day. So... Good times, man. Good times, still paying off. But, you know, I don't know how many of you have seen a lot of fringe shows before, but a lot of comedians, we like to put a sad part in the show. You know, a lot of people maybe go like, oh, and that's when my dad died, or that's when we had to get rid of the dog, or that's when she left me. I realise the sad part of my show is, I couldn't afford my sports car, meh. But remember, it's like a metaphor for depression and all that sort of stuff, right? So I'm driving my girlfriend's car and I get a flat tyre, right? She's got a Fiat 500. It's pretty much the same as what I had anyway, so it's pretty class, right? Don't have a spare wheel in the Fiat 500, so I have to get a tow truck, right? I'm waiting in the tow truck for ages. The guy shows up. We get the car on the back of the truck. I get in the truck with the guy and we start driving. And we're in the truck maybe 3 minutes. And he goes, yeah, mate, what'd you make of all these fucking vaccines and all that, right? Now, again, not actually said what his opinion on the vaccine is. But you can tell what it might be. Now, I wish I'd said to that guy, yes, I've got all my vaccines and I've got my booster, and if they offer me another booster, I'll probably take that as well. I didn't think it was that big a deal. It's just a wee jab. It didn't really affect me too much. And I'll tell you why I got it as well. I've got 3 aunties. Every single one of my aunties is a nurse in the NHS, right? They told me to get it. They know more about this stuff than me, and I got it for, like, out of respect for them, because the past 2 years they've had has been fucking hell, mate. It's been like, we couldn't even fathom the sort of shit they've been through. And while we're on it, I bet you didn't like the mask either, mate. I bet you didn't like the mask. I thought you was a wee muzzle or something, didn't you, right? I didn't think it was that big a deal. It's just a wee bit of cloth you put on when you go in somewhere, you take it off when you get out, and if all of that saves some lives, I think that's a fucking good thing. Nope. No. You've not been paying attention. I didn't say any of that to that guy. No, that was mental, right? When he said to me, would you make all these fucking vaccines and all that, I looked at the sat nav at how long was left, and it was 43 minutes until we got to the garage, right? I didn't want to argue with a guy for 43 minutes, plus I wanted him to like me, right? So when he went, would you make all these fucking vaccines and all that, mate? I went, yeah, and they give you autism. And he was like, I know, mate, nobody's talking about this, yes, right? I was right-wing for 43 minutes, and honestly, I've never been happier. You can say whatever you want, they don't care, they love you. You can say the maddest shit you can think of, and they're like, yes, mate, yeah, right? Like, I was like, oh, you know when a man and a woman gets married, but the man takes the woman's second name? I reckon that guy can't parallel park, and he was like, I know, mate, yes! I was like, I don't think Idris Elba would be a good James Bond, he's too old. And he went, and he's too, and I went, oh, I'll stop you there. Don't say that, mate. Pick a country, mate. Any country, doesn't matter. What's that? Quite, no, I said pick a country, any country.
Any country?
Yeah.
Scotland.
All right. All right, Scotland, yeah, so... I don't think this will work, but it's not your fault, mate. Don't worry. I put you under pressure, didn't I? No, it's all good. I thought, second time was the charm. Pick a country, quite right, which should have been my first red flag. But we'll stick with Scotland. So drive along a bit further. We get stuck in some traffic. This is not... Anyway, this fucking traffic, mate. And I was like, yeah, probably a fucking Scottish driver. And he went, my wife's Scottish, mate. And I was like, oh no, I've upset the right wing man, haven't I? I've went too far, haven't I? Now, what do right wing people do when they upset someone? They double the fuck down. So, I went, oh yeah, Scottish and a woman, she must be the worst driver of all time. And he went, yes, mate, yes! We ran down the windows, we started shooting guns out. We had the time of our life, man. He was the most tolerant man I've ever met in my life, right? But I'm worried I'm going to get in big trouble one day because I don't want to argue with somebody, or I just don't want to upset them or something. Like, say I'm on a plane one day and I'm sitting down, some guy's next to me. As soon as we get in there, he's like, here, mate, what do you make of the West? And I'm like, well, there's a 7-hour flight, so I say death to the West, mate. Yeah, right. 10 minutes later, I'm hijacking a plane with this guy because I was too embarrassed to say anything. So I'm so sorry, everyone, just get down and do what he says, right? I didn't want to argue with the guy. It's a long flight, man, right? But we're getting towards the business end of the show now, and I'm going to have to grow up soon. It happens to everyone. Everyone's going to grow up. They find it at their own times and all that. I'm going to have to grow up a lot faster than I expected because at the end of this year, for the very first time, I am going to become a father. So, no, please. Please don't clap. My house was not good enough for a rescue dog, so... Never mind another human being, man, right? Weird feeling. Mainly because I'm a virgin, so... How's that happened, right? But, she says it's mine and I believe women. I'm a feminist, what can I say? But, it's weird. It's weird talking about it. It's weird telling folk, because, at first, I don't know if you know this, you've got to keep it secret. You've got to keep it under wraps, right? Which was quite difficult. I didn't enjoy all the deceit, especially if your girlfriend loves the sauce as much as my one does. Oh, geez, that was hard. Like, blip, blip, blip. Like, you're like, oh, why is Laura not drinking? You're like, she's doing dry. June, I don't know. Weird, very strange. Very strange to tell, strangers like yourselves. Very strange telling parents. Didn't enjoy that a lot. I did not enjoy telling parents. Because, it's fun, isn't it? You're like, hey, we've got some good news. But there's the elephant of the room, which is sort of like, guess what I've been up to? Yeah, with your daughter as well. That's crazy. That joke's very hard to tell knowing that our mum and dad are sat over there. Oh my God. Don't come to the recording then! Right. I could have left it out, but anyway. So... They reacted so different as well. Like, my dad took my dad out for a beer. That's how you deliver news to your dad in Scotland. You go out for a beer, because you can have a beer, and then you don't have to worry about emotions, right? So... I said to my dad, I was like, Dad, I've got some news. And he was like, what is it? And I said, Laura's pregnant. And he went, is it definitely yours? I went, how the fuck? Is that your first reaction, Dad? Right? They went, no, I'm joking, obviously. No, that's splendid. That's splendid. I went, splendid? I've never heard you say splendid in my fucking life, man. I was expecting a bit more emotion here, man. Like, you're going to be a granddad for the first time. He went, look, you've got my number. You can phone me if you need it. I went, I've got your number. Yes, I've got your number, Dad. Yeah, I think I've got your number. I went, come on, this is fucking life-changing. He went, well, for you. Mum reacted very different, very emotional, cried straight away. Mum's first thought was, what's she going to be called, right? She wanted to know what she was going to be called. She wants grandkids. She didn't want to be called Granny. She thought that felt a wee bit old, right? Didn't want to be called Granny. So we were like, what about Gran? What about Nan? Suggesting all these. She hated them all. But we've got some Italian family. And I was like, what about, Nonna? The Italians, they call their grannies Nonna. And she was like, okay, right? She thought about it for ages. And it was like half an hour later, we'd all forgot this conversation's even taken place. And she just went, yeah, I think that's the one. And we went, what's the one? And she went, Nemo. I went, what the fuck did you just say? She went, Nemo, I think that's the one. I went, Nemo was never on the fucking table, mother. That's a cartoon fish that went lost. What are you talking about? And she's like, well, I like Nemo, right? Imagine saying to your mum, like, hey, you're going to be a granny for the first time. And she goes, oh my God, call me Wally. What, right? It was never an option, Mum, right? And I feel guilty a lot of the time as well. Felt guilty, because here's the thing you need to know about the pregnancy. Unplanned, right? Unplanned, not unexpected, right? I wasn't like, what? That's what happens when... Right? I knew, right? We just had a case of attitude, right? Like Laura took her implant thing out and we were like, whatever happens, happens. We just didn't expect it to happen quite so quickly. My God, almost immediately, which, if I'm honest... Oh yeah, that works pretty well. I mean, some of you might leave this gig pregnant. I don't know how fertile I am. It seems dangerous though, I'm sorry, right? And that's why I feel guilty, because like we watched friends try for ages, we watched friends try for years and not have anything. And some of our friends done IVF, right? Some successfully, some unsuccessfully, which was that was a hard conversation. Not that I thought my friends would be unhappy for me, not at all, right? I knew they would be. I just didn't want to feel like I was rubbing their nose in it. Do you know what I mean? Because like I didn't want them to like after all they've went through, be like, oh my God, that's a miracle. Like how did that happen? And I'm like, right, I know you've spent thousands of pounds on IVF, but have you tried doing 7 Jaeger bombs in Austria? Because that seemed to work a fucking treat for this guy, right? And I feel guilty a lot of the time. I think it's who's all the dads' room? Give me a little cheer. Wow, feel that enthusiasm. Wow, I can't wait to one day be as happy as all of you are. I don't feel excited all the time, and I feel guilty about that, because like I'm not up here constantly. I don't know if it's because my body's not going through the changes like Laura's is, so like she's more excited, or like I just can't fathom the journey I'm about to be on. Like I can't picture the journey at all, so I'm not up here all the time. I can't even picture it. I'm also not down here. Like sometimes I am, don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm worried, I think that's natural. You start looking at yourself and worry like whether you're going to be any good at that sort of thing, and anytime I do feel like that, what I do is I just pop down Leith and have a look at the mums and dads there and go, oh, I'll be okay, actually. I think I'll be all right, right? But no, I'm in this sort of limbo a lot of the time, right, where I don't feel anything. And that worries me a lot, right? Because I'm like, what if I'm a psycho? What if I'm a psycho that doesn't feel anything, and then I've passed on some psycho genes to some little kid, and you like cut to 10 years later, and they're like, I've killed a cat for you, father. And you're like, all right, let's just put that with the rest. Off you go, little Damien. Right? And don't tell Mum, because you got that shit from me, right? And I said to my dad as well, I was like, Dad, I thought he'll know, he'll know what's normal. I was like, I don't feel an awful lot, is that normal? And he went, well, in a way, your bit's already done. And I was like, well, that fucking sums up your parenting style to a T, Dad, right? But thank you so much for coming to the show. Before we get to the end, but I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for being a fucking amazing audience while we were filming that. I really do appreciate that. And can we have a huge round of applause for all the staff here at the stands? You're all very cool. Like, it's the right time for me and Laura to have a kid, I mean, we've been together 11 years, all our friends have done it, like, it makes sense and all that. Like, I know everything about her, but I've only just found out everything about her, right? Because here's the thing about Laura. For the last 11 years, the whole time we've been together, she has swore to me that she does not poo. which can't be true, can it? That's surely not real, right? But like, you know, I've always just let her away with it. I just like let her have that. I'm like, yeah, whatever, you don't poo. Like I've never like tried to catch her out in it or anything like that. Like yeah, I've never like kicked on her door, pushed her off the toilet and be like, hey, what's that then? You say? You said you never did? Oh wait, gerbil. Sorry, my mistake. Right. But I found out she does poo this year. I found out for sure. We did a camper van holiday. We were doing the north coast of Scotland. And if anyone's ever done a camper van holiday, you'll know, oh my God, there are no secrets left by the end of it. Because one night, she's like, do you want to take Harris out for his last little walk and pee? And I was like, yeah, you going to come along? And she was like, no, I'm just going to stay here and get ready for bed. And I was like, okay, right. She always normally comes with me to walk the dog, but that's rare, that's fine. So me and the dog go out, and I was like, that was fucking weird, right? That's not just me. And he was like, yeah, that was pretty weird, Dad, right? I was like, yeah, thanks, mate. You've always had my back. He's like, no bother, Daddy. I went, don't fucking do that, right? Don't do that, mate. And we get back, and we open the camper van door, and we walk in. And the smell inside that camper van was like nothing I'd ever smelled in my entire life, right? Absolutely putrid. It smelled like she had not shit for 11 years. And all of it had come out at once. It was fucking disgusting, right? The dog straight away losing his mind and he was right? Loving it, right? And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? She's just lying in bed with a book going, what is it, right? I was like, what is it? What is it? Do you want to talk about what's going on in here, right? And she's like, what do you mean, what's going on in here? I went, well, first of all, Laura, my eyebrows have fallen off, so something's went down in here, Laura, right? Either you've had 12 bog monsters in for a game of double, or you've shit in that toilet that we all said we were not going to shit in, Laura. So, don't know what you're talking about, right? You know, that was the final frontier for us, right? And I know that she definitely does poo, and whatever a baby puts in a nappy, I'll be ready for it after that, right? But I'll tell you the way she told me, right? Because here's the thing. At first, Laura was like, something's going on. She was a little bit suspicious, you know. So we got a couple of tests, and we did the first one together, right? And come up with one line, and I went, okay, right, that's negative. Now you try one. I'm not pregnant, that's cool. No, it came up negative, the first one. It came up not pregnant, and we were like, there you go, right, we don't have to start panicking and going like, what now, and all that sort of stuff. We relaxed a bit. Then a few days later, she's like, nah, something's definitely up. So she goes to do another test. I'm still asleep at the time. She didn't tell me she was going to do another one. And she starts like trying to wake me up because she's got the news now. She's like trying to wake me up. And I wasn't the most graceful person in the world. Who is when they're getting woken up, right? I was not pleased. I was like, what the fuck do you want? And she's like, haha, be nice, because this is actually quite a big, nice moment in our lives, and you're being a bit of an arsehole, right? And I was like, what the fuck, what is it? And she passed me the test. And I don't know if any of the dads in here can remember the feeling when you first see that test for the first time, and you're just looking at it, and you're like, oh my God. Because you do, you just look at it, and you can't, like, you see those two lines, and you go, we're going to have to isolate. That is... That's fucking crazy. Where have you got this from? And she's like, no, you idiot. I'm pregnant. And I went, is it definitely mine? And she went, how the fuck? Is that your first reaction, Gareth? Right? And I went, no, I'm joking, obviously. No, that's splendid. That's splendid. And she went, splendid? I've never heard you say splendid in my fucking life. What are you on about? I was expecting a bit more outpouring emotion. Like, you're going to be a dad for the first time. I went, look, you've got my number. You can phone me if you need anything. She went, I've got your number. Yes, I've got your number, Gareth. Yes, I think I've got your number. Come on, this is life-changing. I went, well, for you. Thanks so much for coming to my show, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Cheers. Good night. Thank you.